Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Sarah Manski, Assistant Professor at George Mason University School of Business, to discuss feasible positive applications for emerging technologies. Sarah, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Good to be here.
All right, and this has been a pretty hot topic within the Trade Talks community. Tell us about the movement in the Bitcoin community toward environmental sustainability.
There's a very large movement. Bitcoin has been kind of unfairly criticized for being environmentally intensive, primarily based on people who look at the network's absolute carbon emissions without considering its market value. But if you look at market value in terms of how its carbon portfolio is, you see that actually Bitcoin is a better environmental investment than, say, some of these other Fortune 500 companies. There's many groups, including the Crypto Climate Accord, and all of its members are pledging to be net zero by 2030. They're one of the larger trading platforms, FTX, announced a commitment to become carbon neutral. And then there are many various projects, DAOs like Klima DAO, which is a stable coin backed by carbon credits. There's also the Regen network that is working on creating a system of carbon accounting. So the climate community is paired up with the crypto community, and we're trying to make the world a better and more environmentally sustainable place.
Overall, how can cryptocurrency act as a means for global social change?
Well, crypto organizations are very concerned about social change. The community itself comes from that place, and they don't have the same stress on maximizing shareholder value. So we're rallying around a broader mission and executing on that. There are DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, such as the Popcorn DAO, which is a new paradigm for decentralized finance, and it has yield generating products to make profit for investors, but simultaneously help social impact organizations. There's also Giveth, which is helping people give money to nonprofits that are doing good. There's Stylia Finance, which is building a bridge between decentralized finance and infrastructure investments like clean energy, renewable energy. And I could go on and on. There's a website, positiveblockchain.io, that lists about 1,500 projects in this space.
And thank you for sharing that. I think it's interesting when you think about using this kind of technology to divert funds to charities, because sometimes we fall into the trap where charities aren't always using the allocation of the money that they received to the charity itself. So I'm wondering if this kind of technology will help to make that whole, if you will.
Absolutely. Blockchain is all about tracking transparency and immutability of the data. So if you donate on a blockchain, you know exactly where the money went and how it was spent. Right.
Because sometimes, you'll read things where maybe perhaps only half your donation went, even less than that. So that is really promising. Let's switch gears to talk about a different kind of technology, alternative reality and virtual reality technology. Do you think that can be applied to treat PTSD?
Absolutely, and it already is. One of the main treatments for PTSD is exposure therapy. And a way to safely expose people to a trauma is through virtual reality, where you put on your Oculus glasses and you experience what you've been avoiding. And it's the avoidance of thinking about these thoughts that causes people a lot of problems. And so, yeah, that's being used right now in therapy.
Right. And is there a future with AI in creating entertainment for children?
Yes, this is one of the most exciting areas. I have 3 little boys, and AI is now being used to say your children doodle a picture. It will colorize it. You can have it animated. Children can talk to AI. There's GPT-2, which is a transformer-driven algorithm that will take whatever your child says and make it into a children's story. You can, when the Spatial Web comes online and people are using augmented reality, children will be able to talk to the AI, and you don't need to be a programmer. I mean, adults can do this too and say, hey, I'd like to see a giant blue dragon in the room, and the AI will just be able to create that. So you can imagine that children will embrace this technology and be building all kinds of imaginary worlds similar to how they do now, but the AI will bring it to life.
Yeah, I bet you there's a lot of education tech applications that can be used with that as well, which is pretty exciting. Finally, you mentioned spatial web. Explain to us what that is and how it can be used to help grow new businesses.
Well, the spatial web takes the traditional 2D web and brings it into the 3D world. So it's the web, but it has geospatial content. So like the room I'm sitting in would have its own spatial website. And you can put all kinds of data in the real world. Metadata can be tagged to particular locations. You can take and have smart assets. So your car can become its own business, right? Where you allow people to use it when you're not using it. And it also incorporates smart contracts, which allow objects to interact and transact in the digital world with seamless accounts and cryptocurrency that gives everything in the digital world a wallet and the ability to interact with each other. So it gives material agency to objects outside of humans interacting with them, which is a part of the Internet of Things. You can also use the spatial web to have maximum business efficiency, like it's being incorporated right now into warehouses. And the AI is reorganizing warehouses to put the things that are most interacted with workers right up front, and the things that are purchased less maybe in the back. And it's also being used to reduce training times. So when it might take 2 weeks to train an employee how to pick in a warehouse, now it takes 2 days. So there's all kinds of job training and education where this new technology will maximize our human ability and potential.
All right, Sarah, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Of course.